It's 9 a.m. Your colleague sends a one-line email. 6 words, maybe 7. And something in the tone, or what you read as the tone, lands wrong. By 9:40, you've built a courtroom in your head. You're the prosecutor, they're the defendant. You're pulling receipts from meetings 3 weeks ago. That thing they said in front of your boss. The way they cut you off on Tuesday. By lunch, you're exhausted, and you've been arguing with someone who hasn't spoken to you in 4 hours. Here's what I want to talk about today. And I'll say it plainly because it changed something for me. The most powerful thing you can offer another human being isn't advice, isn't money, isn't even kindness in the ordinary sense. It's the decision to stop reducing them to their worst moments. And the strange, almost unfair bonus is this: the second you stop doing it to them, you stop doing it to yourself. The release is simultaneous. You don't earn it in stages. It just arrives. So this is a video about the exhausting habit most of us don't even know we have. The habit of collapsing whole human beings, including ourselves, into their bad days. And what happens when we quietly, privately, stop. Let's go back to that email. Because if you're honest, the person you spent 40 minutes prosecuting wasn't your colleague. It was a character you invented who happens to share their name. You gave that character motives. You gave them a history. You gave them a tone of voice they may not have used. And then you got angry at the character and directed that anger at the real person, who is, right now, probably eating a granola bar and thinking about something completely unrelated. This is the first thing worth noticing. Not as a moral failing, just as a mechanical fact about how minds work under pressure. We don't respond to people. We respond to the story we're telling about people, and the story is almost always faster, louder, and more confident than the person. Here's the metaphor I want you to hold on to, because we'll come back to it. Imagine everyone you meet is wearing a Halloween costume. Some are frightening, some are ridiculous. Some are impressive, the ones that make you feel small by comparison. And you've been responding to the costume as if it's the person underneath. The rude email is a costume. The distant partner is wearing a costume. The co-worker who takes credit is in a costume. And so is the version of them you invented in your head. That's a costume too. One you designed for them. Here's what we do, and we do it so smoothly we don't catch ourselves. Someone snaps at us once, and for the next 6 months, they're the person who snaps. A friend forgets a birthday, and now they're not really that thoughtful. A partner has a bad month, and we start building a case that maybe this is who they really are. We take a moment and we turn it into an identity. And here's the part that hurts. We do this to ourselves more than anyone. You had one bad meeting and you're someone who freezes under pressure. You lost your temper once and you're an angry person. You failed at something at 26 and you're still carrying that verdict at 41. We are all walking around wearing costumes we picked out during our worst weeks, convinced that's what our face looks like now. Notice, nobody handed you this habit as a choice. It just runs. It runs in the background like a program you never installed. And it's expensive. It costs you energy, sleep, relationships, and this constant low-grade sense that everyone, including you, is somehow disappointing. So here's the question, and this is the question that, if you let it, quietly dismantles the whole courtroom. Before you fire back at the email, before you rehearse the confrontation, before you write the person off, just once, ask yourself, am I seeing this person? Or am I seeing a story I wrote about this person? That's it. That's the whole practice for a moment. You don't have to answer it correctly. You don't have to be sure. You just have to introduce a single breath of doubt into the certainty. Because certainty is what keeps the costume in place. The moment you're not sure the costume is the person, you've already started to see past it. And here's what's strange. You've always been able to do this. It's not a new skill. Think of someone you love. Someone who has, at some point, been at their absolute worst in front of you, said something cruel, done something disappointing, shown up as a smaller version of themselves. And you kept loving them. Not because you excused it, not because it didn't happen, but because somewhere in you, you knew that moment wasn't the whole of them. You saw past the costume. You didn't even have to try. The practice is just extending that same seeing to the people you're not already committed to loving. The colleague. The stranger. The version of yourself you're currently disappointed in. Here's the turn. Here's the thing I didn't see coming when I first started paying attention to this. What you give when you look past someone's costume isn't charity. You're not being generous. You're not being spiritual. You're doing something much more practical. You're holding up a mirror, and the mirror reflects back to you. Because the mind that can see past a stranger's worst moment is the same mind that can see past your own. You can't run two different operating systems. If you're the kind of person who reduces others to their mistakes, you're also, quietly, the kind of person who reduces yourself to yours. And if you stop, genuinely stop, even for one afternoon, something in you exhales that you didn't know had been holding its breath. This is the part people don't tell you. Forgiving someone in your head for the tone of an email isn't a favor to them. They don't even know you did it. It's a favor to the part of you that was going to spend the next 3 hours in a mental courtroom. You just gave that part of yourself the afternoon off. So what does this actually look like? Not in theory, today. It looks like this. The email comes in. You feel the flare. The prosecutor stands up in your head, ready to build the case. And instead of following the prosecutor into the courtroom, you pause, one breath, and you ask, am I responding to this person, or to a costume I've dressed them in? You don't have to like them. You don't have to excuse anything. You don't have to send a warm reply. You just have to notice that the person on the other end of that email is not the villain in your story. They're a human being having their own morning, wearing their own costume, probably not thinking about you at all. And here's what happens next. And this is the part one want you to actually try. When you drop the costume you put on them, you'll suddenly notice you're wearing one too. The angry one. The wronged one. The one who's better than this. And you can set it down. Not forever. Just for this conversation. Just for this afternoon. And then something happens that's hard to describe until you've felt it. There's a lightness. Conversations stop feeling like verdicts. People stop feeling like threats. You walk into rooms without preloading who everyone is going to be. You go home at the end of the day and you're not carrying 12 people's costumes in your bag. You stop being everyone's judge, including your own. That's what this lesson is offering, not a technique, not a rule. Just a quiet, repeatable pause, one breath of doubt in the middle of your certainty, and the discovery that the person you thought you were arguing with was never really there. And neither was the person you thought you had to be. In a moment, we're going to sit with this together. You don't have to remember any of it. Just come with me. If you want to keep practicing with us, you can like the video and subscribe. Let's take a moment now to let this settle with a guided meditation. Let's take a few minutes together. Find a way to sit that lets your body settle. Shoulders down, jaw loose. You don't have to do anything with your breath. Just let it arrive on its own. Notice the weight of your body wherever it's resting. The chair, the floor, the bed. Something is holding you. You don't have to hold yourself. Now, gently, bring to mind someone you've been quietly prosecuting. It might be small. A colleague, a driver, a family member, someone whose name comes with a little flare of heat. Don't try to forgive them. Don't try to feel anything in particular. Just picture them for a moment. And remember, they're wearing a costume today. Something you've dressed them in. Something they've dressed themselves in. Breathe. And just for this moment, wonder if there's a face behind it. You don't have to see it clearly. You don't have to know them. You just have to soften the certainty. Just a little, just enough to let a breath of doubt in. Notice what happens in your body when you do this. Something releases. Something you didn't know you were carrying. Now, gently, turn the same softness toward yourself. Bring to mind the version of you that you've been prosecuting, the one who messed up, the one who's behind, the one who should be further along. That's a costume too. You don't have to take it off. You just have to notice you're wearing it, and that underneath it, there's someone who was never actually the mistake you've been holding them to. Breathe. Rest here. There's nothing to fix. Nothing to figure out, nothing to decide. Just this. A little more space. A little less weight, a little less certainty about who everyone has to be. Stay as long as you like. And when you're ready, let your eyes open, slowly, bringing this softness with you into whatever comes next. Thank you for practicing with us today. If you'd like, there's a link to a free digital copy of ACIM in the description. And if this video resonated with you, please comment. I am grateful. Thank you for sitting with this. If you noticed even a small shift, a little more space, a little less pressure, that's the whole thing. That's what we came here for. Be gentle with yourself today. The people around you are doing their best in their costumes, and so are you. I'll see you soon.